How big is the job?
It's an easy 3 million.
They thought they had planned the perfect heist,
You should be able to walk in and walk out.
but they were dead wrong.
I guess you picked the wrong night to rob a bank, huh?
Big Daddy Kane, E40. Get ready to make a killing. Dead Heist.
All right, y'all. Fro in the building. The time has come to talk about one of the worst movies of all time. I will admit, I have a small connection to this flick. I first saw it when I was around 12 or 13 years old, and I do have a hint of nostalgia with it. But I cannot lie to you guys, this one's fucking awful. So today, I'm talking about the 2007 flick, Dead Heist. Strangely starring Big Daddy Kane, E40, Bone Crusher, and they're all on the poster, but Bone Crusher's in it for 2 minutes. He's not fighting any vampires or zombies, whatever the fuck these things are. And E40's not fighting them either. E40 has about maybe 7 minutes of screen time total throughout, and Bone Crusher's only in it for a cameo. In the beginning, for 2 seconds. Now, Big Daddy Kane does have a pretty pivotal role in this movie. I would say he's around the main or the second character of the entire film. But we mainly follow a group of young black robbers. They're hired from E40 to go to this small town, rob the bank, go in and out, and pay back the money that they owe E40's character, Hustle. They messed up a previous job and it ended up really badly. The bodyguard for Hustle got his finger shot off, and the actor tries to hide the finger, but he really just does this. I'm not joking. There's no makeup for it. He literally does this. The guy named Ski, the lead of the young black robbers, he wants a second chance with Hustle. He's like, yo, give me the second chance. I promise that I'm going to make everything right. It won't be as bad as the previous job. E40 playing Hustle was throwing all this type of slang out that's hilarious. It has me rolling on the floor. He's like, I need my yaper, partner. I need my yaper. Instead of paper, he says yaper. Like, little things like that are funny. There's one hilarious line that E40 drops that I think is completely unintentional, but it's so fucking funny. He's like, yeah, y'all gotta do y'all thug thizzle jigga medallion. What the fuck is E40 saying in this movie? It's fantastic. It's completely out of place, but that's one of the few things that I won't really complain about, because E40 arguably has the best performance in this fucking zombie vampire whatchamacallit movie. There's this bald white dude with glasses that was giving me this Vin Diesel from Wish kind of vibe going on. The actor's name is DJ Naylor. Now, while everybody's acting in this movie is pretty bad, it ranges from like F material to like maybe a C- kind of thing going on. DJ Naylor, I do like this guy's character. I am forgetting the name, but this guy was cool. He had a cool bravado going on. He was level-headed with the bank robbery plan. He's a bodyguard for Hustle, or a bodyguard for Bone Crusher in the beginning, but he's hired under Hustle. He's tired of his job, and he's like, yo, I need out. I really want to get rid of this job. And Hustle says, okay, you got one more to go. And he's pretty much supervising the young black robbers while they go through their job in this small town. I did like this guy's character. I didn't mind him. Now, again, the acting is terrible. Again, you guys got to remember that I'm coming from a point where this movie's fucking awful. But I'm telling you the little things that I personally still liked, or I didn't mind. The runtime of this movie is about 1 hour and 17 minutes, so it's very short. But the zombies don't pop up until when we have 30 minutes left. They really don't come through until the final act. In fact, I'll say a lot of shit happens in the last 30 minutes. The first half is getting to know the robbers, and the acting is not strong. We're talking about B- to maybe C- movie territory. And when we get to the small town, we run into Big Daddy Kane playing this vampire hunter. It's completely random casting. And as much as I love Big Daddy Kane, he's one of my favorite MCs of all time. I would put him in my top 10 ever, personally. He's not a great actor in this film, but I'm not really going to blame him. I'm going to blame the director, Bo Webb. I think we got a pretty bad director. And to be fair, this was his first time film. This was his directorial debut. Now, Kane is warning DJ Naylor's character. He's like, you can call them zombies or vampires, but I don't know if you will believe me. In their first encounter, DJ Naylor doesn't believe him, of course. So he goes on with the bank robbery plan. Now, the reason I like this character was because I thought he was pretty smart, especially compared to the robbers. He says, hey, Hustle appointed me. I know this is a bad deal, but trust me, we're going to get this plan together. I'm going to go down to the bank. I'm going to open an account as a civilian so I can scope out the cameras. And it sounds pretty plausible. It sounds all right. But the robbers, what did they do? Oh, fuck this guy. He's taking over the plan. So I'm going to go down to the bank on the same day and just rob it anyway while the guy is down there opening the account on a less suspicious vibe. So the robbers fuck up the plan. They take the whole place hostage. And officers come through when the alarm is tripped off by the female officer. The actress's name is T. Love, which is a pretty strange name. I'm thinking she might be like a hip-hop dancer or hip-hop affiliated or whatnot, maybe another actress, I'm not sure. Her character trips the alarm. The other officers come through. There's a little gunfight going on with the robbers and between them. I have to admit, the lead banker in this movie did give me one or two genuine laughs out of the whole film, and I do think the actor playing him is the most natural. There's one ridiculous kind of chuckle that does get me, and he's like, are you guys interested in the teachings of Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam? And just coming from this really clean-cut white dude who's this banker, it just gave me this really big chuckle. One thing I wanted to add on Kane's character is that at first, he's the vampire hunter, which is kind of cool. It's very cringy at times, but for me personally, it's kind of cool seeing Kane play this kind of character. But the one thing that was extremely hard to believe and was pretty cringy is when his character goes through this explanation that he's one of the scientists that was testing this artificial blood and the results messed up. Yeah, we're going through this fucking explanation. And the vampires or zombies or whatever somewhat got this artificial blood, started spreading quickly like that. So they got released from a laboratory. This was not needed in the film whatsoever. Kane as the vampire hunter was fine as it is. Like, it's still cringy, but at least I can handle that. But him being one of the scientists that let out and started the pandemonium behind the zombies, when it comes across in the film, it's so out of nowhere, and it's just like, dude, no, just a big no for me. And again, for those watching, I'm not digging at Kane personally whatsoever. I love Kane as an MC 1000%. But Kane, I blame the director. Kane is under a pretty bad director, and he falls under a very cheap production. The action in this film is horrendous. I'm going to give the action in this film about a 3 or 2 out of 10. I reviewed another terrible film called Death Valley, The Revenge of Bloody Bill recently, and this is one thing that I noticed as well in this film. Certain actors are shooting their firearms, and there are no muzzle flashes at the end of the firearm whatsoever. It's very, very awful and very noticeable when you're watching it. It's so, like, how do you guys fuck that up? Like, there's moments that some blank guns are popping off and you're like, okay, that looks pretty cool or pretty decent. But there's very noticeable moments where you're like, oh, how did the editor not notice that? And speaking of the editing is awful. I'm going to give the editing itself about a 2 or 3 out of 10. One small moment I can think of is when Ski, the main guy, is talking to one of his boys, one of the other guys in the robber gang, and he's like, yeah, you see that girl over there? And then it cuts, and it's like this old dude, like this uncle character, like it cuts over. They don't even cut to the chick. They just cut to this guy for like 2 seconds, then they cut back to the gang, and then they cut back to the uncle talking to one of the other robbers. It's so bad. It's worse than I'm explaining, I promise you. And I forgot to mention, there is an attempted rape scene in this movie near the final act that comes out of nowhere, completely the fuck out of nowhere, and it's laughably bad. It's so horrible. And I know this sounds crazy, but you are going to laugh at the scene. It's not graphic whatsoever. It doesn't actually happen. It's like 2 or 3 seconds. The character tries to force himself on the female officer. You're going to be like, where the fuck did this scene come out of nowhere? Like, why? What was this decision? They just picked a random decision out of a fucking hat and were like, let's roll with that for dramatic purposes? I don't know. But to wrap it up, this is a movie that's near the so bad it's good territory. It's awful, of course, but you can happily laugh at it. I'm sure that you'll get a few chuckles out of the bad decisions throughout the filmmaking process of this film. I'm going to give Dead Heist a personal 5 out of 10. And that's very generous. I know everybody who's going to end up seeing this film at one point in their life, if you do, is probably going to give this a 2 or 3 out of 10, and that's completely fair. But the 5 out of 10 for me is a little bit personal. It's due to nostalgia. And yeah, and I do have a strange enjoyment with this fucking movie. I don't know why, but that's it, y'all. It's your boy Fro. I hope you enjoyed the review. Until next time, peace.